Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Lovely, Steffi's promises don't contain a stepdaughter killer. For better or worse, Steffy Forrester on the CBS soap opera Bold and the Beautiful is probably going to be thinking about the revelation of a murderous stepdaughter far beyond her marriage vows. This probably goes beyond worse for Steffy. The beautiful and brave, does Steffy Forrester get a stepdaughter? Finn is probably going to get a paternity test done right now before anything else happens on Bold and the Beautiful. Any possibility that her nephew is the father is rejected by Poppy Nozawa. Still, he can't get Luna Nozawa out of his mind as his daughter. Therefore, he would probably demand confirmation in one form or another. This probably indicates that a new paternity test will be conducted soon. Spoilers for Bold and the Beautiful, Steffy Forrester. This plot probably involves Steffy Forrester and the Forrester family if Finn finds out he's a father rather than an uncle. Finn failed to disclose to Steffy his semi-taboo relationship with his aunt, which is one of the issues to anticipate. B&B new titles for Steffy and Finn's family. On Bold and the Beautiful, John Finnegan continues to think he is the father of Luna Nozawa, even after Poppy denied this week. As B&B progresses, many relationships will undergo significant changes if he is the father. Finn would be the father of a 20-something woman with mental health issues. She later becomes the grandchild of Lee Finnegan and Jack Finnegan. Sheila Carter becomes a grandmother as well. One could argue that the young woman Sheila becomes the biological grandmother to as a direct descendant of the woman with 9 toes. However, Steffy Forrester probably takes the brunt of this revelation, experiencing feelings of betrayal, humiliation, embarrassment, and rage. Steffy's son now has a murderer as a half-sister when she becomes the stepmother of a murderer. Steffy may not like this, but her father, Ridge Forrester, will not like it either. Bold and Beautiful, Finn takes the lead. John Finnegan didn't know he might have a daughter until he watched Bold and the Beautiful. This week, we found out that Poppy had a private one-night affair with her adopted nephew about 20 years ago. However, Poppy reassured him at the time that the child was not his when she became pregnant. But he's upset now. He missed out on Luna's early years, not because he didn't want her as a daughter. Therefore, John Finnegan will probably take custody of his daughter if he is the father. Steffy will be in a difficult situation as a result, and her father, Ridge, will probably be furious. Although Steffy adores Finn, their marriage suffered when she initially learned that Sheila was his biological mother. At last, Steffy came to the conclusion that her spouse was not to blame. However, things are different this time. B&B, as Steffy unravels, troops assemble? Again, Steffy Forrester is going to have a difficult time if Bold and the Beautiful proves that Finn is Luna's father. Some of her friends will probably caution her against staying with Finn. Spoilers for Steffy Forrester and Luna Nozawa in Bold and the Beautiful. Steffy will first have to overcome her sense of betrayal. Finn never disclosed to her that he had an affair with his aunt. That's probably going to disgust her. However, Steffy most likely holds Poppy accountable for luring her younger nephew at the time. This week, Finn talked to his aunt about their encounter, and she sounded like the predator. Obstacles emerge. Steffy will encounter too many obstacles to remaining in her marriage after the word spreads among the characters on Bold and the Beautiful. The pack will probably be led by Ridge Forrester. Furthermore, he won't mince things if Finn chooses to become Luna's father. Ridge will not allow Steffy Forrester or his grandchildren to have any connection to the new murderer. Liam Spencer comes next. If Finn publicly admits Luna as his daughter, this guy will probably do all in his power to keep Kelly Spencer away from him. Therefore, even if Steffy Forrester takes the risk and continues to be married to Finn in his new capacity as a father, she may not be able to. It might be a game-changer for Steffy Forrester on the CBS soap opera if Liam threatens to take custody of Kelly over this. Steffy's explosive confrontation with Finn's baby mama raises tensions. Updates and teasers for the Bold and the Beautiful hint that Steffy Forrester is about to make a startling discovery that might completely upend her world. The most recent events in B&B provide compelling evidence that Luna Nozawa's biological father may be John Finn Finnegan. Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, the horrible truth is revealed? If this proves to be accurate, Steffi is going to get some shocking information that might completely alter her life. What happens when the truth is revealed? If Poppy Nozawa, Romy Park, is actually Finn's baby mama, it might lead to a heated argument with Steffi, who would surely be prepared to let loose her rage. If Steffi finds out that Poppy has been hiding her pregnancy from Finn for years, she would be hankering after a big confrontation with her. There is a possibility that Poppy had an affair with her adopted nephew while he was a college student, even if the program has not yet revealed Luna's paternity or the specifics of this complicated web. Steffi is likely to see the situation as manipulative in addition to repulsive, especially if drugs were used. B&B spoilers, the battle is coming. As the next chapter of this story develops, it appears like Steffi and Poppy are headed for a collision regardless of what occurs. Given that the show teases Finn and Steffi's upcoming anniversary, it seems probable that Steffi will confront Poppy in front of a large gathering. It could get so tense that Steffi would respond to the surprising information by giving Poppy a hard slap. If Finn intervenes to protect Poppy or attempts to protect her from Steffi's anger, things could become even more problematic. We all know how ferocious Steffi can be, and all the indicators point to Poppy being in for a storm of Steffi's rage. Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, fans are disappointed about Finn's potential paternity. The possibility that Finn is Luna's biological father has many fans fuming, but this turn of events could lead to a fascinating new conflict. Watch for the tension that is building because Steffi and Poppy may become bitter enemies once this secret is revealed. How do you feel about the stunning prospect that Finn is Luna's father and the paternity plot? Are you anticipating the Daddy Finn drama or are you looking for another explanation? Be sure to follow the developments for Steffi and Finn as they face hurdles that could jeopardize their future together, according to upcoming spoilers. Finn's marriage is saved by the baby, Steffi's unexpected pregnancy? According to spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Luna Nozawa's biological father may be John Finn Finnegan. The Bold and the Beautiful, do you want more? Receive the most recent information on The Bold and the Beautiful delivered directly to your inbox. Should that be the case, Finn may lose Steffi Forrester Finnegan, particularly if he desires to support Luna. But might Shin be saved if she became pregnant unexpectedly? Let's discuss the alternatives after you finish reading. Spoilers about Steffi Forrester Finnegan's anniversary on The Bold and the Beautiful. According to B&B spoilers, Taylor Hayes and Rich Forrester recently discussed Finn and Steffi's impending anniversary. Steffi talked about having a quiet anniversary at home with her devoted hubby and gushed about him. But there are things happening that Steffi doesn't know about. Spoilers for B&B, Poppy Nozawa's disclosure. Lee Finnegan administered a paternity test to Jack Finnegan. But Jack isn't the father of Luna. Finn called Penelope Poppy Nozawa, Romy Park, to his hospital office after Lee confessed to him. Poppy and Finn mentioned the night they spent together years ago. Poppy apparently caved into temptation because it was Finn's first time. Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Luna Nozawa's father. According to previews for The Bold and the Beautiful, Poppy may confess that Luna is Finn's daughter. Steffi and Finn might be torn apart by that. Despite Luna's transgressions, Finn is the kind of guy who would want to support her. Finn would likely want to speak with Luna in person at some time because he missed out on her early years. Naturally, no one is aware that Luna is under house arrest, but that is a topic for another column. Because of his birth mother, Sheila Carter Sharp, Finn came dangerously close to losing Steffi on several occasions. They defeated Sheila, but now Luna drugged Steffi and confined him in a cage. Additionally, Luna murdered Tom Starr and Paul Hollis Hollister, played by Holly W. Chambers. Therefore, Shin might be torn to pieces if Finn suddenly becomes Luna's father. A new Shin baby? But what if Steffi discovers she is expecting? Would Finn and Steffi be reunited with a new baby? Steffi may leave Finn due to mental health issues, but the wonderful doctor will always have her heart. What do you think will happen in the story of Poppy and Finn? Is Finn indeed the father of Luna? In what way can Poppy ever be atoned for such an act? Could Finn and Steffi's marriage ever withstand another murderous relationship? Is Shin's marriage doomed, or might a surprise pregnancy bring them back together? A formidable presence, Steffi Forrester was strong, passionate, and unreservedly possessive of her possessions. She attacked first and inquired later when something threatened her world. It was a quality that had helped her in both boardrooms and heart-to-heart conflicts, but this time, her intuition had misled her in the worst way. Steffi found herself snapping before she had all the facts because of half-truths, unresolved suspicions, and the constant tension in her marriage to Finn. And in doing so, she attacked the wrong individual, causing uncontrollable chaos. It all began with whispers, snatches of conversations overheard, looks that didn't set well with her, and small moments that, when taken as a whole, signified nothing but when combined, created a picture of treachery. She had persuaded herself that someone was attempting to ruin her marriage and cause a rift between her and Finn, and once that notion had taken hold, it was impossible to shake. Her feelings overcame her, distorting her senses until everything appeared to support her darkest suspicions. She felt as like everything was slipping away from her once more after fighting for years for love, family, and a place where she felt completely safe. She would try to prevent that from happening. Steffi focused on the person she thought was responsible, determined to beat whatever storm was coming. She knew they were guilty, not simply suspecting them. She clung to the assurance, at least, as a means of rationalizing the raging emotional tempest within her. When the time arrived, her wrath, which had been building for days, burst. She cornered them, her eyes burning with rage and her voice piercing with knife-like accusations. She insisted on knowing the facts, what they were doing, how long they had been working against her, and how they dared to meddle in her affairs. Her body was stiff, her hands were balled into fists, and every syllable was dripping with anger. Persuaded that she was bringing justice, she was in full attack mode. She had pursued the wrong person, though, and that was her one fatal error. Her first clue should have been the astonished stillness that followed her scream. She should have known she had made a mistake based on the way their face dropped and the expression of astonishment that flashed across their features. However, she was too far gone and too consumed by her rage to notice. Until they eventually spoke, she persisted in pushing forward and letting out all of the doubts and anxieties that had been building inside of her. And everything was broken by their words. "Steffi, you are completely mistaken." She was taken aback by the calm, collected reply. They spoke of pain, incredulity, and the sting of betrayal, but there was no trace of guilt or dishonesty. But not because they had been apprehended, not because she had even made the accusation. Real life suddenly slammed down on her. She had never seen the picture before as the puzzle pieces moved and rearranged themselves. She was confronted by the actual truth, which she had been too enraged to see. Furthermore, it was completely different from her expectations. The awareness of what she had just done weighed heavily on her chest, causing her stomach to churn. She had been completely mistaken. And she had harmed someone who didn't deserve it in her haste to defend what was most important to her. She felt regret gnawing at her, but dignity prevented her from instantly collapsing. She wished she could go back in time and repair the harm, but it was too late. Their face was already etched with the pain, unmistakable and brutal. Even worse, her attack had revealed something much more serious than mere wounds. Because she had overlooked the true danger that was hiding beneath the surface of her misguided allegations. The one who had actually been pulling the strings, the one she ought to have been pursuing, had only observed it all from the background. And now they could attack while Steffi was distracted. Steffi Forrester wasn't simply fighting the wrong battle for the first time in a long time. Before she even realized it had started, she had lost it. Finn had always thought that his life with Steffi was stable, based on trust, love, and an unbreakable bond that had withstood hardships that most couples wouldn't face. Sheila's disarray, Liam's persistent presence, and secrets that threatened to destroy them had all put their love story to the test on numerous occasions. Nevertheless, they had consistently emerged stronger, demonstrating that Shin was an unbreakable power. However, Finn could not have been prepared for the revelation that would completely upend his existence. He had been feeling uneasy for days, perhaps even weeks, with a feeling that something was amiss, that something was concealed from him, or that something was just out of reach. And it was just devastating when the truth ultimately came to light. Steffi had been his rock, his true love, the one who had provided him with a house and a family. Refusing to let the past dictate their future, they had battled for their life and their happiness. What he had just discovered, however, threatened to alter everything. His identity, who he was, and what it meant for his future were all addressed in the revelation, not just his history. But even though his thoughts were racing, one thing stayed the same: Steffi. She was the woman he wanted at his side, no matter what. The weight of the reality almost took Finn's breath away when he finally faced it. His mind whirled with memories that instantly took on new significance, his hands gripped at his sides, and his heart hammered in his chest. With the family he had established with Steffi and their kids, he had always believed he understood his role in the world. Now, however, everything was different. However, as he stood there looking into Steffi's eyes, he came to the important realization that this information, surprising as it was, had no bearing on what really mattered. The life they had created, the love they had battled for, and their unbreakable tie remained unaffected. It simply served to highlight how much he needed to cling to her, to appreciate what they had rather than worrying about what they might lose. Ever the fighter, Steffi had been braced for the worst. She had prepared herself for the chance that this may be the thing that ultimately broke them apart after seeing the expression in Finn's eyes when he initially revealed the truth. But when the tempest in Finn's eyes gradually subsided and the silence grew between them, she came to the profound realization that he wasn't backing away. He wasn't sprinting. Despite everything, he was picking her. In that instant, she realized that Shin was more than simply a love story, it was a pledge that they would fight for no matter what. They therefore made a decision rather than letting the news shatter them. A decision to rejoice, to accept the love that had seen them through all of their hardships, to reaffirm the life they had created together. They reassured one another that no revelation, no prior error, and no external force could topple the foundation they had established with each touch, pledge, and glance that conveyed years of passion and devotion. Nothing, not even the truth, could change the fact that they were Shin. As a tribute to the life they had created together in spite of all the obstacles, Finn and Steffi's anniversary was meant to be a night filled with love, laughter, and joy. They had consistently found their way back to one another despite outside threats, familial strife, and betrayals. However, as the evening wore on, the Forrester estate's atmosphere changed from one of exuberant expectation to one of simmering tension that neither of them could ignore. With elaborate decor, a candlelit meal, and a mix of songs that symbolized each significant event in their love, Steffi had painstakingly planned the ideal evening. She had worn a sophisticated silk gown, the type that always caused Finn to lose all other thoughts and concentrate just on her. Dashing as ever, Finn had gathered her in his arms and whispered that she was his home and his anchor, regardless of what life hurled at them. Their meticulously planned moment was suddenly destroyed in the cruelest turn of events. First, there was a phone call. Finn's phone buzzed, a simple, unexpected sound that caused him to pause before responding. Lee was on the other end, her words coming out too fast for him to take in all at once, and her voice was full of desperation. The thought of Luna, the young woman whose entrance had already caused a stir in their lives, made his stomach knot. "Finn, we need to talk. It's about Luna. The test results are in." A lot of questions had been raised by Poppy's arrival, and the mystery surrounding Luna's father had been hanging over everyone like a specter. Steffi recognized him the instant Finn's eyes met hers. She was aware that they couldn't ignore whatever was about to happen and that it might completely destroy the evening. Nevertheless, she nodded, quietly pressing him to respond. She reminded herself that it was only a phone call and a test result. How awful might it be? However, they couldn't have been prepared for what they were going to hear. Normally so calm, Lee's voice broke beneath the pressure of her words. "Finn, you are Luna's father." Finn's breath froze in his throat as the room spun and the globe seemed to tilt. His mind was scrambling to process the news, and his heart was thumping. No. That isn't possible. There must have been some error. He has no recollection or awareness of ever having a relationship with Poppy that would have resulted in this. Nevertheless, Lee was never one to talk without assurance or to exaggerate. The DNA results were indisputable if she was telling him this. As the words weighed heavily on Steffi, her body tensed next to him and her face stiffened. Finn had a daughter named Luna. Now there was no escaping it. Between them, there was a thick, oppressive silence. Unable to find the right words to describe something he didn't even understand, Finn opened his mouth and then shut it. Steffi, however, didn't require an explanation because she was already understanding every moment, every odd exchange between Finn and Poppy, and every instance in which Luna had gazed at him with silent inquiries in her eyes. Anger follows. "Did you know?" she said in a low, menacing voice. Finn's head jerked up, his face displaying utter incredulity. "Of course not, Steffi. I had no idea." However, the harm had already started. Steffi had the impression that the earth was giving way beneath her. She had fought for their marriage and their love for years, only to be caught off guard once more. Sheila's presence, which threatened to destroy them, had been the first. His residual guilt regarding his biological mother had been the cause at the time. And now, this? Another female? Another kid? With her arms crossed over her breast as though to physically support herself, she pressed, "You expect me to believe that you had no idea? That Poppy just showed up in our lives, and it's all some big coincidence?" With amazement and frustration fighting inside of him, Finn raked a hand through his hair. "I don't remember ever being with Poppy that way. But the test, if Lee says it's true, then it must be. I don't know how." With a sneer, Steffi moved away from him, creating a gap. "Maybe you should figure it out, Finn. Because this isn't just about you. It's about our marriage. It's about us." The romantic evening became a battlefield of emotions as tension between them flared, the anniversary long forgotten. Poppy, meantime, was sitting in her dark apartment across town, clutching her phone while tears ran down her cheeks. Although she had longed for more time, she had known that this moment would arrive. There was still more time until the truth broke the tenuous peace they had all been attempting to preserve. Luna, who was seated next to her, was quiet as she tried to comprehend what she had just heard. "So, it's true," Luna said in a scarcely audible whisper. "Finn, he's my dad." With a long nod, Poppy's eyes were filled with remorse. "I never wanted to keep this from you. But I was scared. Scared of what it would do to him. To all of us." Luna balled her hands into fists. "You had no right to keep this from me." From him. Finn stood on the balcony back at the Forrester mansion, holding on to the railing for support. Within minutes, everything in his life had altered. He was unaware of the existence of his daughter, whose whole life had been concealed from him. And Steffi. Steffi was staring at him as if she had lost faith in him. His voice was desperate as he turned back to her. "Steffi, please. I didn't ask for this. I didn't know. But I love you. I love our life together. Please, don't let this change everything." Steffi, however, has been here before. Too many times, she had stood here, confronting the fact that secrets and betrayals could shatter love, no matter how strong. And this? The largest one to date was this one. One question remained as Steffi turned away from Finn and went back inside, leaving him by himself on the balcony.